Sunday Night Football. It's the Dallas Cowboys at the Pittsburgh Steelers. A real throwback NFL matchup, right? Two historic teams going at it. I can't wait for the broadcast to tell us about, why the matchups in 1970 mattered for what's going to happen here in 2024. But it's going to happen. So beyond, that happening, what is the matchup that matters here for who's going to win this game in 2024, Carmen?
Yeah. I have Terence Steele specifically against TJ Watt. I do think that there is more of an opportunity to exploit Tyler Guyton, who is the rookie left tackle for the Dallas Cowboys right now. But TJ Watt almost exclusively does not play on that side. He went to the right side one snap so far this season, and it came last week. So he really sticks to the left side of the defensive formation, which gives you the right tackle position. That's Terence Steele. I still do think that that's probably a good matchup, given that Steele has a 53.9 pass blocking grade. That's 73rd among tackles. So it's not great. The tackles just in general are not doing well right now for the Dallas Cowboys. Steele has only allowed one sack this year, though. So can TJ Watt kind of exploit that a little bit more? He has 5 sacks, 15th in pass rush win rate. All of his metrics right now aren't really indicative of, the dominating force we've seen in the last couple of seasons. I do not think, though, that necessarily means that TJ Watt has dropped off as a player. I still do think that this is going to be an extremely good matchup. And if you can get Dak under pressure, we've seen him, force things, try to play that hero ball. He's got the new contract, still trying to do it. We're going to see if that matters, I think. But I do think that that's one of the biggest individual matchups to watch.
Speaking of statistics on the fly, our stats guy, David Solfaro, just messaged me and said, Cowboys Steelers, only matchup to ever be in 3 Super Bowls. So, hey, you know what? If you're going to go back to 1970 or whatever it was.
When were those Super Bowls, Dave?
You might as well be playing in those matchups. So at least, again, people who have been fans of these teams for a long time, there's probably a little added hatred to this one way or the other, even though those matchups obviously don't mean anything for what's going to happen this Sunday night. That the fan bases probably have a little bit extra in this one. My matchup that matters here, George Pickens versus the Cowboys deep coverage. Pickens, on throws of 20 yards or more this season, 5 catches, first in the NFL, tied for first, 175 yards, which is the second most. He has got a great connection going right now with Justin Fields when it comes to the deep ball. Cowboys coverage on throws of just 10 yards or more, so not even 20 yards or more, the 10 yards or more catches. 29.0 coverage grades, 29th in the league. 57.6 coverage grade. That's 26th in the league when that comes to coverage grade overall. So this is going to be a tough one because even though I don't really know how many other legitimate passing options you have outside of George Pickens, even the connection that Fields and Pickens have right now on a base level, it exploits the biggest Cowboys weakness. Well, I can't say that because their run defense has been really bad too, but coverage has been a struggle for this team. And I think especially covering deep. So it feels like a game that the Steelers should win. It feels like it's going to play into their hands, especially with them being at home. So that is the big matchup that matters for me. But what about a plus factor?
Yeah, I'm going on the opposite side because I'm going with the Cowboys backfield. Do you know that they've had 4 runs of 10 yards or more? Do you know who's responsible for 2 of them?
Who? Tell me.
CeeDee Lamb. Not great.
God, it's ugly. All due respect, CeeDee Lamb, great athlete.
Dude, CeeDee Lamb is a one-man offense for the Dallas Cowboys right now. They have the second fewest rushing attempts with just 90, averaging the second fewest yards per carry at 3.6, 10th worst in overall EPA added by the run game, 4th fewest yards after contact, 2nd fewest rushing first downs, 2nd fewest missed tackles forced. This is a terrible offensive backfield in Dallas. You have seen Dak Prescott just have to throw the ball, put the team on his back, and more specifically, put CeeDee Lamb in these situations that, like, Dak Prescott is having to place the ball in double coverage to CeeDee Lamb because he is the only one that is responsible for any sort of offense for this team. And that was the concern going into this league. I took a lot of heat this offseason talking about how the Dallas Cowboys need to add pieces around Dak Prescott because they simply do not have enough. Defenses can key in on CeeDee Lamb, and then what are you going to do? The answer is Dak Prescott is just that good of a quarterback that he's making it work anyway. But you have to believe that come playoff time, should the Dallas Cowboys even make it this season at this point, because it looks pretty dire, the competition level just goes all the way up. It's a completely different season. And who in the world is not going to be able to contend with the Dallas Cowboys offense when it consists of two men at this point?
Right. Yeah.
So I took a lot of hate for saying that the Dallas Cowboys needed to add more pieces, but especially in the backfield, they have one of the worst running back rooms in the league right now. That is just deeply unserious. If you are the Dallas Cowboys, you are expecting Super Bowls, and to hear Jerry Jones come out and say that the running backs just need more chances, averages don't lie. They're averaging 3.6 yards per carry. That doesn't matter if you've had 20 attempts or 100 attempts or whatever. If you're averaging 3.6 yards an attempt, you're averaging 3.6 yards per attempt. It's dismal in Dallas. So they need to get that going somehow. I don't know how you're going to do that with a shell of Zeke Elliott and Rico Dowdle. I'm so frustrated with the Dallas Cowboys, as I'm sure Dallas Cowboy fans are as well.
No, it was a talking point, certainly outside of Dallas, when people looked at this team, and I didn't predict them to make the playoffs. I thought that they were going to take a big step back because I felt like it was too much this year. At times that we've looked at some of the issues that they've been able to overcome on the roster not being perfect, but it just felt like it was going to be too much this year. The plus factor for me is the reserve defensive line for the Dallas Cowboys, because Micah Parsons, it looks like he could miss this week. DeMarcus Lawrence is already on IR.
Yep.
The interior defense lineman we've already talked about on the show in previous weeks, like, it's just not playing well. I'll give Mozzie Smith his credit, though. He played the best game of his career this past week, so I definitely want to shout him out there. But somebody's got to show up. Parsons and Lawrence, those are the two highest graded defensive linemen that they have on the team. Next highest graded is Marshawn Nealon, the rookie, with a 54.1. So it's going to be rough. Like, this defensive line already was not good, and now you're going up against a team that would love to, just impose their will with their offensive line in the ground game, especially when you factor in Justin Fields into that. And if they're going to be able to get consistent push, you better believe that's exactly what the Steelers are going to continue to do all night long. So the Cowboys defensive line has to play a great game. And then, kind of like I mentioned, when you are facing George Pickens, you've got to be able to cover deep as well. So I'm just really worried about the Cowboys defense in this game, especially with this one being in Pittsburgh and away from home.